back to Spekd. We're continuing our journey into the Warhammer Conquest and the 40k universe with issue number 18. Now this issue is a bit different. We haven't got models, but we do have paints. So to start off with, I'll just show you very quickly the two paints we have. We have the Mephiston Red, which I made mention that we should get right in the beginning if you're a Blood Angel fan, and Rakhar Flesh. So now I can finally use these. And we have a beautiful playmat, which I have been asking for the longest time. Now this playmat is absolutely huge and massive, and it's a lovely kind of almost waxy paper material / card. It is the same size as two of the original game mats that came with the Conquest magazine. So they're kind of like edging you in towards Kill Team. And that's actually quite a nice little play there. I think the game that's currently out is called City Conquest or something, or Urban Conquest, and that's almost like a continuation from this into the direct game of Warhammer 40k. So if you do see it, it might be worthwhile picking up, but for now we'll continue with what we've got. So opening up, we can see right away there isn't a section there for build, because we don't actually have it, and that's your blue section. Not that it matters, but we're looking into Silver Templars, the organisation, bolt weapons. That's actually quite interesting. When we get to bolt weapons, I'll kind of remember to speak about it. Hellblasters, a relief of Lysias. We've got painting details, Season Clear, and Mephitic Blight Hauler data sheet. Good. I haven't seen many battles with that recently. And I like those little models that are really chunky and small. But anyway, so what we have here is a lovely piece of artwork based on the Silver Templars. Let's get this closer. And the Silver Templars are a they're a successor chapter of the Ultramarines. So really, they could have put this in the first issue for you. I mean, if you're a fan of Ultramarines, and they're all Primaris army. Yeah, see? One of the first chapters to be created. We've got some history and lore about the Crusade. We have the symbol, and this would have been brilliant. If I got this in the beginning, I probably would have used these rather than painting up all my models as Blood Angels, because I've got a lot of Blood Angels, and I really would have liked like another chapter. And if they're Primaris, as they all are Primaris, that would have been really good. It would have been a real nice incentive. You hear their battlefield rolls here. Now, if you are getting the magazine, or if you are getting the magazine, you would notice that you don't actually have these little markings. When you buy the models individually, they come with like a transfer sheet, and you put those transfers onto the model, so you can tell at a distance what the model is. And that reminds me to let you know about the identifiers for weapons, a little thing that I use. But that would have been really handy if they would at least put a couple of transfer sheets in the magazine, maybe even in the first few issues, just to tie up all the models together quite nicely. So we've got the ranks here, squads, that's good. Bolt weapons. Now there's been a recent change in the Warhammer 40k game, which means that the bolters are a lot more effective, so they fire better over larger distances. Well, when you play the game you'll understand, but they clearly wouldn't have that rule in here because it's a beta rule at the moment. But I think that means we're going to see Terminators return soon, and that makes me very happy. Anyway, here's your different types of bolt weapons. I suggest if you're doing this, just paint up your weapons slightly different colours, or in a particular style, paint them all the same way, so you can tell from a distance what they are. And a good example of that would be these guys here. So all my flamers have this effect, or an effect like it, so I can tell it's a flamer from a distance. All my guys with plasma have the plasma effect. Let's have a look what I've got here. Melter guns tend to have that burnished end, so again I can tell it's not a flamer. Heavy bolters, I'm a bit cheeky and I paint red, so I can tell what they're doing. Missiles, I always colour yellow. And force weapons, I tend to dual colour. You see the green and purple there. And power weapons, I tend to lightning colour. There you go. Okay. So that makes it any easier. But get used to doing that, and things will become easier for you on the battlefield, so you don't pick up the wrong models when you need them. So we've got Hellblasters here, and again another piece of lovely artwork and a good reference of how to actually paint the models and weapons if you haven't seen them before. And these guys are brilliant. Put them next to an apothecary and a company ancient or a chapter ancient, and these guys are just fantastic. Oh, we've got Death Watch here. That's nice to see. We've got some more lore and history of the war on the battlefield. So the planet itself. So we've got the history there, the battles. It's nice to see. And this, especially if you're playing this game with a buddy and you're building up towards these battles and you're making it out like you're reenacting. That's what I'm looking for. If you're reenacting these battles, this could be amazing. So you may be reenacting a battle which was actually lost, but at the same time you might win this time due to a tactical change, and it'd be great fun. Okay, so we have painting details, and they've got all of the models that we've had so far require some of these colours, so it's going to take a lot. A little tip here, they've got putting your wrists together when you're painting. I tend to lock my two little fingers together, so when I'm painting I can get closer with finer detail, and if one hand moves the other one moves. If that's helpful for you. So look at that, with the Mephiston red, just a little touch of colour does so much work. And the purity seals, grenades. If you have a weapon, paint it. It will help remind you to use it when the battle comes up, especially if it's a little feature. And that little bit of colour just makes so much of a difference. Look, just there on the helm. So we go from the blue to this touch of red. It brings it out really nicely. They've finally got to the Mechanicus grey on the actual Death Guard now, and on the rocks as well. Let's have a look. Rackar flesh. So they're going to have quite a lot of that with the purity seals. Normally things that have purity seals on, with as far as the Imperium are concerned, are things which have been blessed by the Adeptus Mechanicus, and they're like these cyborgs, cyberpunk style repair robot people. That's the most easiest way to translate it, other than when I mentioned it in the Conquest thing. And I actually kind of like them anyway. They're like the repair people. They love robots more than humans and machines more than humans. And they bless things and coat them in oil because it's like technology which they praise and worship. And sometimes I don't even know how to repair these items or how to fix them, but they leave these kind of like little prayers on them and statements and purity seals to say the item's pure, like weapons that don't jam. So if I have like purity seals, because you can buy them separately, I tend to stick them onto weapons that have like special abilities or are master crafted, so I remember to either re-roll or add extra damage or whatever I need to do, depending on the weapon. Sorry about that ramble anyway. Just another helpful thing. As you can see there with the aggressors, the colours there, it looks really nice. Little Nurgling getting his final colours. And the Pox workers coming in there, finishing up. But you can see there, that map's looking quite full. It looks good. And it's been well worth the time. Right. So we've got, I think, one of the final battles which is going to be taking place there. So we've got our setups, our characters, our win conditions, and look, here we're using victory points. So that's a really nice transition from you know, the magazine into the actual game. That means you can take your models, whichever army you have, and literally go down to the local game store and say, hey, do you mind if I play? And I'm sure the staff there would be really happy to go through with the models that you have. Maybe even give you advice for more. Yeah, they have to upsell. Okay, seize and clear. So this is like a two-part mission from what I can see. What I'm seeing here that I like is the deployment zones are different to the standard left and right. So you normally deploy your models within this zone, and this is kind of teaching new players that they can move around their models in more tactical positioning to benefit from cover. It's something really to think about. It's really good. And they've changed over the models again. Nice. So we've got the stat block for the Mephitic Blight Hauler. A little bit of info. Look, there's Mortarion, the Demon Primarch. And we have Corvon 2, the new battle map, terrain and missions. And it's a massive city map. Well, I'll get that set up so you can have a look. Bring this all together, you can see the full layout. All the models that we're taking these weeks to build and take our time to colour. Reading up the story and the history of each model, putting them on the battlefield has more meaning and has more effect. Those little additional details like the crates, the fences that we've been building, it just comes together so nicely. And it's really paid off. And I think that's what this magazine has been about. It's about being patient and learning that you have the ability to create. And I've really enjoyed it. And
Back to the magazine. And looking ahead, we have our Conquest issue 19 with these Terminators. And I can't wait to get those onto the mat as well. And more terrain. And you can see already how the terrain will be blocking line of sight. And I'm having so much fun painting terrain. And it doesn't take long. I'm actually quite surprised. Anyway, I've enjoyed our time. I hope you've enjoyed your time. And I want to make some more playtime. This has been Spekd. PC out.